Thank you, Senator Booker. I understand Senator Blackburn is online. She may join us now if she's ready.
I am indeed, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. And thank you all for the good discussion today. I think that it's been so interesting to hear your perspectives. And in Tennessee, I will tell you that gun sales are really at record levels. It's so interesting to talk to gun store owners, and many times they're out of stock or they're out of ammo. And Americans are turning to their Second Amendment rights as a way to protect themselves and their families. Many people were so disconcerted with the violence that they saw last year on our streets, the rioting that took place during the summer, and they're fearful. And they want to make certain that they are prepared to protect their families' safety, and they worry the police won't respond fast enough if their communities are victims of an attack. So when talking about gun rights, I'm reminded of the wisdom of former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice and how she recalled growing up in Birmingham during the Civil Rights Movement. She said back then, and I'm quoting from her book, "There was no way the Birmingham police were going to protect you. That is why when white night riders came through their neighborhood, her father and his friends would take their guns and they'd go to the head of the neighborhood and they would fire in the air if anybody came through." Ending the quote. It was a matter of necessary self-defense. I'm sure many communities facing senseless attacks can empathize with that story. Sometimes the police can't get there in time, and it can be devastating. And for those moments, we have the Constitution. We have the right to have guns in our homes, and we have the right to protect our loved ones. Last summer, we saw those images of destruction of businesses that swept through the nation. In Kenosha, Wisconsin, the Scott family looked on as the furniture store that they owned for 40 years was set on fire by looters. And Denord Distillery was an African-American owned business that handed out water to protesters in Minneapolis, but the business was set ablaze. People from all walks of life saw their sole sources of income destroyed as unrest ravaged our cities and businesses were looted and burned to the ground. Mr. Chang, I'd like to come to you for an answer, if I may, sir. Our country faces rising violence against Asian Americans, and we mourn the violence that we have seen this week, the shooting in Atlanta, the shooting in Boulder yesterday. I would hope that the shooters are prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And I want to turn back and look at history for a moment, Mr. Chang. During the LA riots in 1992, Korean American businesses were looted, attacked, and burned to the ground. When the police didn't come, who was there to protect those businesses?
Yeah, thank you, Senator, for the question. So, yeah, who was there? And I think to underscore your point, who wasn't there? Law enforcement, as much as they wanted to be there, they were overwhelmed with violence overtaking Los Angeles. And I remember being 12 years old, watching the LA riots on TV. And I lived about 50 minutes from where everything was taking place. And as a 12-year-old, right, I understood just at a very high level that bad things were happening. I saw a lot of people getting hurt. I saw a lot of violence, a lot of burning buildings, and a lot of fear. And it wasn't until that I became an adult when I realized one of these stories that was, I think, really not told in the mainstream media about Korean Americans exercising their Second Amendment rights because they were under threat. And this isn't a hypothetical threat when the government isn't available or willing to come to the defense of a marginalized community. And so it's this ultimate individual right that we have in the Second Amendment that is one of those final backstops, one of those final pieces of individual peace and mind, that I have control over my own personal safety and security. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. And Ms. Scott, I have a question. Ms. Solomon, a question for you that I will come to you in writing on. Dr. Hupp, likewise, one for you. Ms. Swearer, I do have a question for you on school safety and guns that will come to you in writing. And Mr. Chairman, I will send my time back. Thank you.